Today we're going to paint in watercolour Bullfinch on a snowy branch. Before you do anything, you need to prepare. You need obviously to draw out the picture. I have drawn out this panoramic scene, which I think is quite nice compositionally, especially if you want to do a card or a bookmark or something. And then the most important thing I ever learnt when becoming a watercolor artist is preparation is everything. So preparation is slow, execution is quick, which means that you need to put all your paints out. Decide on your brushes. So I have got big, medium and small. Have 2 glasses of water, tissue to hand. Only when you're absolutely sure that you've got everything ready are you allowed to paint, because the biggest bugbear I have ever had is when students put, and especially if you're going to do a wet and wet wash, if you put wet everything here and then you start putting out your paints and then you start trying to find that brush, and by the time you get back to this is dried and you're getting enormous cabbages. So just be prepared. Take a big brush and you're just going to go over everything apart from the bullfinch. And then you're going to drop in some cerulean. Splodging is a watercolor technique. In varied strokes. We're going to go up to raw sienna, put a bit there and there. I'm actually going to take these out with a tissue so it's not too heavy on the berries. And then we're going to put some Payne's Grey, just a tiny bit around the berries, but not near the bird actually. So if you actually feel that you're putting on too much, you can take off some with your brush. A bit more raw umber brown, and you can put in some distant branches. If you see that pooling at the edge of your paper, lift it up, just take off the excess because you don't want that running back. Take some clear water here, just go over that branch so you've got that clear. What we're going to do is we're going to put in the snow with gouache, but there's nothing wrong with just putting that on here, just that you have some bit of highlight. And actually the tissue can add some nice effects and let it dry naturally. So you want to be patient, because if you've got a lot of water on here and you use a hairdryer, it will tend to push the paint around, and again you can get some cabbages. So I'm just actually put in some berries. You can just dot in some soft berries. So basically what we're going to have is berries in focus and berries soft in the background. I'm using a cadmium. Don't use a chocolatey brown, use a cooler brown. I'm just going to put some, at the very end, put some gouache, white gouache on for the snow. As I said, you can use masking fluid, but I've got so fed up with it ripping the paper when I take it off. And then I've just mixed a little bit darker again with the Payne's Grey. So raw umber, the cool brown with a small brush. Bring some of these branches down. And if you break a line, don't worry about it. Don't go back. It's better to have the broken and then rather than clunky. Actually, you can fill up some of these berries just with water so that when you put the red in here, it will just merge and not look too static. I'm going to add some highlights with the gouache as well. The fun thing with cadmium is it's quite strong, so you can put that over quite nicely. And if some of it bleeds, then that's totally fine as well. But just make sure you don't make them too equal. Again, I'm actually dampening the paper before I put this on, just so that it has some variation on it. And then I'm going to use a bit of cerulean actually underneath, because I feel that there's like a lighter shade of blue, some brown here and some blue underneath his tummy. And I'm going to go over this again with Payne's Grey. You can try out other blues, but I'm trying to keep with limited palette. Oh, there's a tiny little bit of burnt sienna here. I'm going to add a little bit of raw umber, sorry. It's just how I'm doing little strokes, like feathers, a bit more texture under his tummy, shadow, and then the little accents. Make sure the beak is dry before you do that. And also you want some light in the eye, so you can do a little round eye, but try and keep the white of the eye. But if you can't, you can, that's what gouache is for. With a long brush, just put in some long strokes. You see how the dark accents are really bringing him alive now. And if you want to soften it, you can actually mix it with some Payne's Grey. You can mix it with some cerulean, and again in little strokes. Use a damp brush to actually tease some of that Payne's Grey out. Going back to the small brush. Oh, I think I missed a feather. And just extra on the bottom. I'm just going to add a little bit more red to his breast. Dampen the brush and just soften that. So now what we have got is just to put on the snow. Make sure you have clean water. Clean water, little brush, lots of thick white gouache. So you're going to use the side of your brush from the side to the end of the paint, just in case you're not sure about it, and dab. And if you do it with the side of the brush, it doesn't come out, so it has a sort of a little bit of a texture to it. You can keep rolling it. Hopefully you'll have a steadier hand than me. You can go over the pencil. That's coming out quite nicely. And then you can do the little branches. Don't be frightened of going over the branches, or you can, for example, this one is quite thick. It's not very nice, so I'm just thin it really. But make sure that it's, if you have to do this with a small brush, you can vary your brush as well. Make different sort of little, because snow won't all have landed equally. And if you drag it, don't splodge, Zoe, you get to the shiny berries. So the light is coming from, we've got light on his breast coming this way. So you need to have little bits of light here, so you can do some little touches of light. Also, you need to do the snow as well. I wouldn't cover every single berry with snow. And there you have a bullfinch on a snowy twig in wintertime. So hope you enjoy, and feel free to make comments or ask any questions. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos, and look forward to seeing you again.